Okay, so now let's look at the central nervous system into more details. As we said, the central nervous system is made up of the brain and the spinal cord. The brain and the spinal cord are protected by membranes. We say 3 membranes that protect the brain and the spinal cord. We call them the meninges. The meninges, as well as the cerebrospinal fluid, they protect both the brain and the spinal cord. But remember, the brain is also protected by the skull, the cranium. But the spinal cord now is also protected by the spine, and then ama meninges, remember, as we said, which are the membranes that surrounds and protect the central nervous system. Okay, and then now we look at the brain. Starting the brain, remember there are 5 main parts of the brain, which you need to know how to give the labels, how they function as well. Let's begin with cerebrum. Cerebrum, remember, is the largest part of the brain. It consists of gray matter on the outside and white matter on the inside. The functions of the cerebrum, we say it controls voluntary actions. Voluntary actions are everything that you do in your own control. It means you decide or you are performing a task that is voluntary. So all voluntary action, whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you do, it is voluntary, therefore it is controlled by the cerebrum. Secondly, we say cerebrum, it receives and interprets sensations from sense organs. Sense organs corner in your body, they will then transmit an impulse to the cerebrum where they are interpreted. Thirdly, we say the cerebrum controls high thought processes. High thought processes consist of includes memory, reasoning, and judgment. So zonke lezi intelligence is there in the cerebrum. Okay, and then we move on to the second part of the brain, which is the cerebellum. The cerebellum, it coordinates all voluntary movement. Each time you are moving, it is coordinated by the cerebellum. Secondly, cerebellum, it controls muscle tension and maintains balance. So to maintain balance, ufanele ama-impulse abe transmitted to the cerebellum. So the cerebellum yona controla ama-muscles emzimbeni ukuthi okokuqala asebenza kanjani. Secondly, to maintain balance, kufanele kube yona cerebellum ewa-coordinator so that ezokwazi ukuthi enze njani bring about balance ama-muscles in your body. Okay, now we look at Corpus Callosum. Remember, the brain consists of 2 hemispheres. We have the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. Between these 2 hemispheres, they are connected by the corpus callosum. So the first function of the corpus callosum is to connect the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. Secondly, it allows the 2 hemispheres of the brain to communicate. Simple, okay? And then we look at now the medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata, yona inama functions now out too as well. Firstly, it transmits nerve impulses between the spinal cord and the brain, because the medulla oblongata is found there between the brain and the spinal cord. So it has to transmit some impulses between these 2. Secondly, the medulla oblongata controls involuntary actions. Involuntary actions in your body includes a heartbeat as well as breathing. These are involuntary actions. As we said, they are regulated automatically. Okay, and then lastly, let's look at the hypothalamus. A hypothalamus, we say it is the control center for lezi zinto zonke lezi esihalelayo. When you feel like uhalela something, so we hypothalamus that controls lokho kuhalela leyo sabawele. Like 1, hunger, 2, thirst, 3, sleep, 4, body temperature, and lastly, emotions. So zonke lezi zinto lezi you feel ngathi uyayihalela in your body, it is controlled by the hypothalamus. Now, that is the structure of the brain. Okay, now let's look at the frequently asked questions about the brain. To check your understanding yomfundi based on the functioning of the brain, they might ask questions like ukuthi kunalesi sifo lesi that we know esibizwa nge-Alzheimer's disease. I-Alzheimer's disease isifo lesi esithi sidalwa ukuthi uma i-brain tissue, specifically i-cerebrum, is damaged. So esijwayele ukuphatha abantu abadala. Okay, i-Alzheimer's disease bayathanda ukubuza-ke ukuthi-ke bengakubuzi directly but bazobuza ukuthi since i-Alzheimer's disease idamaja i-brain tissue noma specifically idamaja i-cerebrum, imaphi ama-symptoms alindele ukuthi abonakale kumuntu osuke ne-Alzheimer's disease? Wena okwakho simple ukuthi ukhumbule ukuthi uma umuntu kambe udamejeke i-cerebrum, what are the functions of the cerebrum? I-cerebrum, we know ukuthi it controls voluntary actions and also receives and interprets sensations from sense organ, and as well interpret yenze ama-high thought processes. So when afanele apply that knowledge ukuthi now since umuntu ezoba ne-Alzheimer and the cerebrum is damaged, therefore those functions esiwabalayo ngeke esenzeke. As a result, this person might have a memory loss and lose i-memory bese eba ne-confusion. That is i-Alzheimer's disease. Owesibili futhi i-question abangakubuza yona indirectly bebe befuna ama-functions e-Methula Oblongata. So i-Methula Oblongata, we said ukuthi it controls ama-involuntary actions such as i-heartbeat ne-breathing rate. Bazobuza ukuthi why umuntu uma kudamajeke i-Methula Oblongata, why that person will die instantly. So umuntu vele uma kulimala i-Methula Oblongata will die instantly because i-Methula Oblongata iyona le controller ama-involuntary actions. So that means ukuthi now once ama-involuntary actions engasakhona ukwenzeka, because without the Methula Oblongata, breathing rate will stop, a heartbeat now will stop. So therefore the person will die instantly. So when by understanding the functioning of this part, it will be easy for you to apply now that knowledge, almost upendula those such questions.